I would like to go over the assignment. You expressed some concern about trying to figure this out for hours. I can identify with that. It can be very frustrating. The purpose we use alert statements is to test the code as we go. If you'd like to learn how to program, you need to learn how to write the code step by step and test it as you go. That way, you will find the error so that you don't have to waste hours wondering where the error is. There is no reason why you should have written so much code if the first steps didn't work. If you look at your code, everything is based on num pounds. You're testing the value of num pounds. What is num pounds? What value does num pounds have? Well, it doesn't have any value. You do not have a variable for num pounds. And that should have been very evident when you loaded your page. The third line of code, you have an alert for num pounds. This is what you should have done. You should have written 3 lines of code, tested with the alert, and if nothing worked, you knew there was a problem right then and there, so you didn't have to go any further. So you don't have any value assigned to num pounds. So none of it is going to work, and over here, this is not going to work either. But let's go back to the beginning. Here we have a variable called num, and this is your random number that was given to you. Now you're doing something else here. You have another variable, my number, and this doesn't make sense either. There is no value for my number. I'm not sure why you did that, but there is no value for my number. So you're starting out with num, which is technically a random number from 1 to 10, and now you have this num pounds that you're trying to test, which does not exist. There is no variable called num pounds. There is no value assigned to num pounds. So I have no idea why you're even bothering with these alerts, because obviously they're not doing you any good. You were not able to test them. Again, when you have an alert and you can't test it, if it doesn't execute, that is the giveaway that there is a problem. So here on the right, when I load the page, I don't see any alerts, so I know there should be a problem. If you hit the F12 key, that will launch the Browser Developer Tools. The Browser Developer Tools, this is the console. You can also get to the console from the menu system. All right, so here's your first error. My number is not defined, line 34, which is the second line of code that you wrote. So here's a problem right here. The console only shows you one error at a time. So I'm just going to comment that out. So when I save the file, I run it again, I hit the F12 key. Now, here you go. Num pounds is not defined. And everything in your application is built upon num pounds. So yeah, it's not going to work. All right, so the purpose of using these alerts is to make sure that you have the right values, which you didn't. You had no value. You were testing variables that did not exist, that did not contain values. So if the alert doesn't run, you know there's a problem. Don't keep on writing code. Find out why the alert doesn't work. Again, the Browser Developer Tools, very, very handy. A little difficult to use sometimes because the error message may not be all that easy to understand. And it will only give you syntax errors. It won't give you logical errors.